The world is full of urban legends, remarkable stories that spread like viruses around the planet, mutating and evolving until no one can remember which ones are true and which ones are urban legends. In this episode called Under Wraps, you'll see 3 stories about hidden horrors that emerge when no one expects them. First up, a stockbroker strikes it rich on Wall Street, but nobody can believe the shocking secret of his success. Then, a horrific crash destroys a family, but a far worse shock is yet to come. And finally, Swedish police unwrap a present that threatens to destroy Christmas. Watch all 3 stories and decide which urban legends are true and which ones are false. Find out if you guessed right at the end of the show. First, it's a story we like to call Money in the Bank. Jeannie Trantel takes care of herself, but not long ago, she had someone who took care of everything, her wealthy husband, Stephen.
He was a great husband. We were living our life in a very beautiful way, and we just loved each other very much.
Stephen made a fortune on the New York Stock Exchange.
Being married to a commodities trader, it's just a huge, huge roller coaster ride.
And Stephen was riding it all the way to the top.
Stephen loved money.
Have some fun.
Before long, there's no shortage of it.
I mean, this was a lot of cash. And then we went out to dinner, we went shopping.
It was a life most people can only dream of.
It was a great life. I was very happy.
But this dream was about to become a nightmare. It happened in 2008, after Stephen paid an innocent visit to Jeannie's uncle.
Hey.
Stephen had called me.
No, just leave me now.
He's like, honey, I'm gonna be right home.
I'll be home soon.
He was 8 blocks away.
But Stephen doesn't come home.
An hour later, like, I called my uncle.
Hello.
Hi, Uncle Jimmy. Have you seen Stephen?
My uncle couldn't believe it. He's like, he left like an hour ago.
Yeah, well...
Jeannie's entire world is about to be ripped apart in the most unbelievable way.
Bye.
So I started calling him. No answer. His phone was shut off. Why is his phone shut off? Very strange.
Where could Stephen be? He's never disappeared like this before.
Then I thought he had some kind of like heart attack at the wheel. So I called up hospitals, all the hospitals.
But Stephen hasn't checked into the hospital. 2 more hours pass without any word.
My uncle starts, getting worried. Now I'm starting to panic, really in a panic. Like, where could he be? It's 5 hours later. I'm thinking to myself, is he hijacked? Did he get hijacked?
8 hours after Stephen said he'd be home, the phone finally rings.
Stephen?
That's the phone call that changed my life.
But it's not Stephen.
Yes?
It was a police officer, and he said, Mrs. Trantel, I have some bad news to tell you.
No.
And I started screaming right there.
What has happened to her wonderful husband? Is he dead? Has he been kidnapped? Has he gotten into an accident? Bizarrely, it's none of those things. He's been arrested. But why?
I could not even believe the words that he said to me.
As Jeannie listens in horror, a shocking story starts to unfold. Her husband is not the man she thinks he is.
Stephen every day got up, he got on his suit, I packed him a lunch, he kissed me goodbye. He went out the door. I thought he was going into the city.
But it's all an act.
He wanted to keep status quo in the neighborhood.
Stephen's been hiding a terrible secret.
Stephen never told me that he lost his job.
Instead of going to Wall Street, he's secretly studying for a new career.
He would go to the library and actually research through books.
Stephen is studying to become a bank robber. He hasn't just lost his job. He's lost all of his money on the stock market floor. With no cash coming in, Stephen decides it's time to go to work.
He didn't talk at all. He just handed the note, and in the note it said, "I have a gun and I'm not afraid to use it."
And it's not just one bank. Thanks to his research, Stephen gets away with 10 robberies. Enough money to keep up appearances at home.
He had prepped quite a bit before he did the robberies. He would research through books. He looked at individuals that did robberies and how they got caught.
Stephen thinks he's discovered how to commit the perfect bank robbery. His secret is the most unlikely thing: a simple coffee cup. Who would suspect that a man holding a coffee cup had just robbed a bank? The plan works again and again.
He got away with it, I'll say that.
But Stephen forgets that his fingerprints from a decades-old drunk driving charge are still on file. When detectives pull a print from a robbery note, it's all over. Jeannie can't believe what the detective tells her. Surely a mistake has been made. There must be some other explanation.
And I said, "You have the wrong man." I kept saying, "Oh my God, this can't be true."
How could it be true? Even Detective Skopek has his doubts.
When we did background checks, we found out he worked on Wall Street, was part of the community. There was a lot of things there that just didn't really make a whole heck of a lot of sense.
Detective Skopek has to be sure.
So we set up surveillance to make sure.
But the surveillance yields more questions than answers.
Where Stephen lived was more a high-end community. Did you think a bank robber would live there? No, absolutely not.
But how could a fingerprint lie?
As soon as we determined it was, in fact, Stephen, we moved in, placed him in handcuffs. He knew it was over. He knew it was done.
Stephen gets 9 years in a federal prison and leaves Jeannie with a wound that will never fully heal.
Would I ever think that I married a criminal? Absolutely not.
A broke broker fools everyone, even his wife, into believing he's made it big on Wall Street, when really, he's paying the bills by robbing a string of banks. But did it really happen? Find out at the end of the show. Mini-myth number 128, Slain by Sleigh. In Mammoth Lake, California, a teen figured the foam around a lift tower could be put to better use, and it did make a good sled, until he lost control and, ironically, slid right into the lift tower, where he'd pilfered the pad. Sadly, without the safety cushion, nothing absorbed the blow, and the teen died soon after. Was it true or false? It was false. Although several people have died in remarkably similar fashion, they've never run into the exact pole from which they stole the safety pad. Now it's time for our next story. It's called Miscommunication. Kathy Reynolds is an all-American mom who proudly handles every detail of family life. But there was nothing she could do to protect her family from one terrible tragedy.
Our life was so changed, but it was just horrendous. It was horrible pain.
It all began in small-town North Dakota in 2007. Kathy's daughter Candace is nearing the end of her senior year of high school.
She was a fun-loving, beautiful girl. She was just a great kid.
He looks like that guy.
For Candace, the only person in the world closer than her mom is Tanya Williams.
They were the best of friends. They even looked alike. They were together all the time. They were that type of friendship that probably would last a lifetime.
October 14th, 2007 seemed like any other day for Candace and Tanya. Returning home from a school trip, the two girls had no hint of the fate that was about to befall them.
The call that you hope you never, ever get, it was the police. And they had said that we needed to get to the hospital.
Let's leave you in the car.
The Reynolds rushed to the hospital.
A doctor said to us, your daughter's been in a terrible, terrible accident.
Candace and Tanya were nearly home when the bus was cut off and lost control. Both girls were thrown through a window.
The doctor said, I have to tell you this, she did not survive.
I'm sorry.
It was like someone had punched me in the stomach. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. I didn't want to believe it. They said that she had been identified at the scene and they had her purse. It was her purse. They said we could see her if we wanted to, but it was horrific. And I knew that I couldn't do it.
The Reynolds world has collapsed. But amid the horror, a miracle. Despite horrific injuries, Candace's best friend, Tanya, still clings to life.
Tanya was really unrecognizable. She had her jaw wired shut. It was broken. Her arms, her wrists were both broken.
The Reynolds do their best to comfort Tanya, but it's difficult.
She couldn't communicate in any way. We thought it's just too much for her to think about Candace and losing her best friend, so we decided not to visit her anymore until she was out of the hospital.
While Tanya starts a string of complicated surgeries, Candace is buried.
You don't expect ever to go on without your child. No one does.
Weeks go by, but nothing dulls the pain.
I always felt like there was this big, heavy cloak on me, and it was just weighing me down. It was very, very, very sad.
Then, nearly a month after the crash, shocking news.
We're racing to the hospital. The whole time I'm just rocking in my seat thinking, this is just insane. This can't be happening. We're running practically in towards Tanya's room. And I saw Tanya's parents just sobbing in the hallway.
Did one of Tanya's operations go wrong? Has she succumbed to her injuries? What could have possibly happened?
And we saw this pretty beat up child. We knew it was her.
In an amazing twist of fate, the girl lying in hospital isn't Tanya, it's Candace.
She opened her mouth and said, "Mom."
The miracle is almost too much to believe. Candace is alive.
This doesn't happen. These things don't happen. It was Candace. It was our girl.
But how did this mistake happen? Tragically, Tanya, not Candace, had lost her young life in the accident. But somehow the best friends were mixed up at the scene. Since the Reynolds chose not to see their daughter's body, no one identified the mistake. And Candace's severe injuries kept her from telling anyone the truth.
I really wanted to tell them that I was there, that I was alive. But I couldn't. It was like being gagged and bound. It was just this futility, just over and over and over.
When her jaw had healed enough for them to take out the wires and she was able to finally speak, and then she said, "I'm Candace."
But this miracle comes at a terrible price.
Tanya's parents thought this was their child. They nursed this girl around the clock back to health, and now to be told that it wasn't and that their child was already buried, it was horrendous for them.
As Candace continues to struggle with her long recovery, she is sure to never forget about her best friend, Tanya.
I still miss her every day. Yeah, she's the first thing I think about when I wake up. She's definitely always with me.
A mother destroyed by grief for her only daughter, only to learn that she survived all along. But did it really happen? Find out at the end of the show. Mini-myth number 79. Septic surprise. Winnipeg resident Gilbert Nelson was forever tinkering with his beloved RV. Before an especially long road trip, a friend suggested he convert his backup gas tank into a sewage system for his newly installed toilet. On his camping trip, Gilbert was awoken by a strange sound. He discovered his sewage tank open with a siphon hose hanging out. Lying on the ground a few feet further away was a gasoline thief who'd just gotten a nasty surprise. Was this true or false? It was false. You'd have to be a sucker to believe this crap. Now it's time for a final story. It's called Cramped Caper. Mikael Axelsson is a Swedish bus driver. who spends his spare time looking for his next opponent. But not that long ago, Mikhail came up against a foe that almost put him in checkmate.
It was bad for me and was bad for my family, too.
By the time all was said and done, Mikhail would be the prime suspect in one of the most bizarre crime sprees in Swedish history.
It was a mystery. I couldn't explain it.
It all started in December 2008. As a veteran bus driver, Mikhail is trusted with the busiest routes during the hectic holiday season.
I like the freedom of the job, actually. Being on the road is something I also always liked.
But one day, a mysterious theft threatens everything he's worked for.
One of the passengers came to me and said that her laptop was missing from her bag. And the bag had been in the compartment under the bus. It was sort of puzzling.
Only Mikhail has access to the locked baggage hold. Mikhail tells the girl she is mistaken. She probably just forgot to pack the laptop in the first place.
I don't see how you can steal anything at that point. No.
But just 2 days later, it happens again.
As a driver, I was very concerned about it because it was sort of my reputation at stake here.
The bus company heightens security, but it does no good. A few days later, there's another theft. And a week later, yet another. It's getting serious for Mikhail.
Since I was the only one with the keys to the luggage compartment and to the extra padlocks, I become the #1 suspect at that point.
Were it not for his years of service, Mikhail would have already been fired.
It was really a stressful time for me because it was really a puzzle how this thing happened. I couldn't explain it.
The situation is worse than Mikhail realizes. Worried about a scandal, his company has hired an undercover cop to keep an eye on the bus. Desperate, Mikhail implements security procedures of his own.
I'm sorry, but everyone will have to get off the bus.
Nobody was allowed to stay on the bus at the rest stop, which wasn't normally the case. Everybody has to clear the bus, and I locked it up. And I didn't see anyone coming near the bus.
Despite all precautions, there has been yet another theft.
I said, not again. And then all of a sudden, there was this man who stepped up and identified himself as a policeman.
Mikhail is about to be arrested. He swears he's innocent. The cop doesn't believe him, but agrees to check the luggage hold one last time.
There was some movement in the luggage compartment, and there was this large duffel bag and a little man sticking out of it.
What is this stowaway doing under the bus?
Then it dawned on me that this is maybe the key to all these thefts.
They inspect the bag and make a remarkable discovery.
He had a special zipper so he could hide himself inside the duffel bag. I think the zipper had broken, so he couldn't sort of get back in and hide himself.
And inside the bag, they find the passenger's stolen belongings. How could this little thief get away with such a big crime for so long? The plot was even more incredible than they first realized.
He had someone load the bag on at the departure and retrieve the duffel bag with the items and the little man inside. It was actually a smart way of stealing things on a bus, I must admit.
The police soon catch up with the accomplice. With the crooked duo behind bars, the crime spree immediately stops.
It was like a big stone had been taken off my shoulders. It was a big relief.
A small-time thief packs himself in a duffel bag in order to steal valuables from the cargo hold of a coach bus. But did it really happen? It's time to reveal the truth about our 3 incredible stories. First up, it's a tale of the hospital mistake that destroys one family and saves another. But is it fact or fiction?
This is the worst thing that could ever happen to a parent. But it didn't happen to me. This story is fake.
Similar tragic mix-ups have made the headlines in recent years. Sadly, it happens more often than people think. Thankfully, the families in this tale are not real. Next up is the tale of the broker who fools everyone into thinking he's made it big, when really he's a bank robber. But is it fact or fiction?
My name is Jeannie Callahan Transal, and I married a bank robber. And this is a true story.
This bank robber only got away with $60,000, but ended up destroying his family and his life. The stock market may be risky, but crime doesn't pay. Finally, it's a tale of the diminutive Grinch that almost steals Christmas from Swedish bus riders. But is it fact or fiction?
I am Swedish, but I have never driven a bus, and the story is a fake.
This myth has been around for ages, but no one would pull such an elaborate scheme to get at the meager riches found under most buses. That's the end of our episode called Under Wraps. Were you able to uncover the truth, or were you blinded by the lies? Don't worry if you couldn't. You'll get another chance to separate fact from fiction in the next installment of Urban Legends.